So good morning and welcome to practice today. So just starting seated on a block, trying to make sure our knees are a bit lower than our hips, just to ease down sort of our hips in this area. But sit, if you need kneeling, that's another way to sit as well to start practice. And we're ready. We're literally just going to be just raising our right hand, just gentle stretch up. And then hands back down. And on the left side of our body, really feeling the stretch down there. Just gently to start with as we open up and down. We're ready, both hands rising, looking up and to heart center. And we're ready, just walking our fingers forward a little bit, just sending the body forward, looking down, so eyes towards the ground. So neck, no creases in the back of the neck, just getting some stretch and just making sure our sit bones are grounded here. And then we're just walking our hands to the left. Again, really pushing that right hip down so it remains grounded on the mat or on the block. And if you want a little bit more, crossing over our right hand over our left just gives you a little bit more stretch. And then back to center and go to the other side. So just walking pyramid fingers to the right hand side. And again, crossing the left over the right just gives a little more stretch. Really push that left hip down into the mat. And walking it back to center and then up into the middle. And when we're ready, just coming onto our mat. So all fours position, so tabletop position, set up for this. So our knees are hip width distance apart and our hands are shoulder distance apart, index fingers pointing forward. And just making sure that we've got really good connection with the mat, with our hands, the pads of our hands and those fingertips. And when we're ready, just cat-cowing, so looking forward, drop the belly, inhale, pushing the mat away, and then rolling up through our spine, exhale. And again, looking forward, inhale through our nose, push the mat away, arms straight, not locked out, and then looking back between our legs, exhale. And once more, inhale. And rolling up through our spine, feel every bone in the vertebra moving. Exhaling into cat. And when we're ready, just sending our bottom back towards our heels as we warm up into child's pose. And child's pose is available whenever you need it. Work within your practice. Work within what your body is telling you today. And while we're in child's pose, just setting an intention for today's practice if you have one. Or if not, just following along. And today is all about heart opening and gentle back bends. So when we're ready, rising back up into tabletop, tucking our toes, and then coming into our first downward dog. Really prioritizing the straight back. So as long as you can from the tips of your fingertips to the tailbone. Upper arms rolling outwards so you're really broad across your upper back. And then just walk your dog. So paddle your feet, step up and down. Bent legs, you don't have to have straight legs at this point in practice. We're just warming up. And the heels don't necessarily need to reach the floor. This is more about a length in our spine. And sending our heels towards the floor so you feel the stretch down the back of your hamstrings and into your calf muscles. And when we're ready, we're going to step that right foot through. And then dropping our left knee to the mat and releasing our back foot, rising up into our low lunge. Arms high, belly, ribs tucked in, tailbone pointing down, low lunge. When we're ready, hands back towards the mat, tucking our back foot and stepping it back into our downward dog. Okay, go on the other side. So left foot steps between two hands, dropping our right knee to the mat, prioritizing the knee over the ankle. So we've got really good sort of stability there and length just in the front of our right hip. Arms rising up, tucking those ribs in, low lunge. So it's our first lunge. So just still warming up. So no need to go too far yet. And then hands back towards the mat, tucking the back toe, stepping it back into your downward dog. And breathe. And then walking our hands to meet our feet to meet our hands, coming to our forward bend. So again, knees are slightly bent here. I haven't gone for straight legs yet. I'm in my forward bend, half lift, hands on shins or hands on the mat, but straight back in a half lift. And then hands back towards the mat, full bend. Arms go wide as we rise all the way back up to the top. And then hands to heart center. So when we're ready, we're going to rise again. So arms go wide and high, sweeping all the way down into our full bend. Really feel the weight into the front part of so weight's in the front part of our feet, not in our heels. Going into the balls of our feet, really stretching. You'll be able to feel it through your hamstrings. And then half lift, hands on shins or hands to the mat. And drop the head, crown to the mat, exhale. Full bend. Then stepping it back into plank. Dropping the knees to the mat. And when we're ready, just lowering to the ground. So body goes forward, bending into my arms, elbows stay tight into my chest, all the way down, chaturanga. And then baby cobra here, so pushing the mat away, opening the heart forward. Little back bend here, elbows tucked in, eyes back towards the mat, tucking those toes, and then send yourself up into your downward dog. Go through box if you need, go through tabletop if you need to. And then when you're in your downward dog, just pedal, do what you need to do. So we're going to go again. So when we're ready, the right foot's going to step between two hands. This time, dropping that left knee, rising up, our hands up, we're in our low lunge. So here, we're going to do our heart openers. We're going to cactus arms, so arms like this, so 90 degrees. So every time I say cactus arms, that's what I mean in practice today. So we're in our low lunge. Maybe shuffle your foot, your right foot ever so slightly forward and just drop a little bit into your hips and send your heart forward. The knee is over the ankle here, Anjanasana. But just a baby back bend. It's a small back bend here, but really opening the heart out. If that's too much, you can have your arms down. You can have your arms on your hips, on the back of your hips. Here. When we're ready, just bringing it back to upright, walking that foot back in, hands back to the mat, stepping it back into your downward dog. Right, starting to warm up now. Left foot between two hands, dropping that right knee to the mat and rising up into our low lunge. Again, foot comes forward just a little bit, dropping the hips forward, down into our cactus arms, chest is forward, chin's going forward, eyes might be up, and it's definitely not a drop your head back. It's more of a just imagine a really gentle back bend here. And when we're ready, just bring that foot back in, back to center, back to upright, dropping our hands to the mat, stepping it back into our downward dog. And just adjust as you need to through this. So as we flow, you can continue to drop the left knee and do low or right or left knee and continue in the low lunge, but I'll show you the high lunge versions. Just go where you need to go to for your body. So when we're ready, just going to float forward into plank, dropping our knees to the mat, hugging those elbows in, body goes forward, lowering down to the mat. When we're here, we're going to just send our hands like a hand width distance away, push the mat away, send the heart forward, coming up into cobra, another heart opener. Really relaxing those shoulders down, collarbone is going forwards, like sending it forwards. And then eyes back to the mat, hands come in, tucking those toes, send it back into your downward dog. Right, just take a moment here. Going to drop our knees, release our feet, and just come into child's pose. And if it's more comfortable, you can take a block and put it between your heels and your bottom, and then head onto the mat or head onto a block or a cushion, whatever you've got. But just find a comfortable position that there's no tension anywhere. Okay, when we're ready, we rise again. So back into our tabletop position, tucking those toes, coming into our downward dog position. And when we're ready, going to step that right foot between two hands. So drop your knee here if you need to. You're going to come with me and try the high lunge. Basically, to get to high lunge, I'm going to engage all the core muscles. So pulling that navel away from your trouser belt. The other one is the root lock. So the base one, the one that we use when we need the loo, we're holding on. So engage both of those. Really engage the core, engage the quads and the glutes, and up into high lunge. Really pushing out in my back foot. I'm on my toes of my left foot, pushing out through my heel. Looking at my knees over my ankle, nice and firm, really straight back leg here to give me stability. When we're ready, cactus arms. And then you can, just a gentle, just chin forward, little bend here. You can, like I said, have your arms down if that's on your hips, if that's easier, or if you need to have them there, it's a different way to go. Really strong. When we're ready, hands back towards the mat, stuffing it back into our downward dog. Lovely. So when we're ready, left foot between two hands. Again, drop your knee if you want to go the lower crescent lunge. So while we're here, switch on the two cores, the core muscles, rising up into our high lunge, really pushing out in that back leg, really straight, firm. And then cactus arms here, sending our heart forward, just a little back bend, gentle back bend. Really open the heart out, open the collarbones out, and breathe. You can shorten your stance. If this is too much, just bring it in a little bit. If you need to go a little bit higher, that's okay too. Be here. Just imagine your bend is up, like you're going over a beach ball rather than just crunching back, really upwards in your spine and back, opening out your heart. And we're ready. Hands back to the mat, stuffing it back into our downward dog. And we're ready, walking our feet to meet our hands at the front of the mat, forward bend. And a half lift. And dropping our head towards the mat. Full bend. You're going to rise all the way top. Hands go wide, right to the top. Looking up here, small back bend here. Again, reaching upwards. Imagine you're going over a beach ball behind you. So up and back, pushing those hips forward. Relaxing those shoulders down as much as. Chin is forward, eyes are up. So we are thinking about the ball, beach ball, big beach ball behind us. Hips are forward, front of pelvis is going forward. That's it. And come up to upright, sweeping all the way down. Forward bend. Half lift. Exhale down to forward bend. Step it back into plank. And when we're ready, you can stay on your toes or drop your knees. If you're staying on your toes, elbows, eyes of elbows forwards, elbows tucked in, body goes forward, lowering down, lowering down, lowering down until we reach the bottom, releasing those toes. And this time, hands walk outwards from our chest and turn ever so slightly outwards, really rooting down. Full cobra. So while we're here, we're going to come back to the mat. So eyes down, forehead to the mat. And this time, just pillow your hands together and just rest your forehead on your hands here. Just take a moment and breathe. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So when we're ready, just rising up, and we're going to come onto our forearms. And our forearms are at 90 degrees. So 90 degrees here, hands out in front of us, really pushing those hips in towards the front of the pelvis into the mat. Sphinx pose. And then looking forward, relaxing those shoulders down. If you find you're hunching, then just back off a bit. You can go a little bit wider if that helps a little bit. But we're trying to minimize the crunch in our lower back. We're trying to open our heart and use our core. And we're ready, just get down to the mat and then head back onto our hands. And if you want, you can just send your heels in towards your bottom, so your bottom half of your legs at 90 degrees, and just windscreen wiper your feet from left to right. And then feet down. When we're ready, hands back down by the side of our chest. We're literally going to come up, pushing ourselves, come up into tabletop if you need first, and then come up into our downward dog position. Right, next flow, a bit more heart openers to come. So when we're ready, left foot this time, stepping between two hands. Again, switching on all the core muscles, so sucking your navel away from your trouser band. And then the root lock one, really rising up into our high lunge here. Nice. When we're ready, we're going to just rotate the right heel down and open up and come up into our warrior two position. So my right hip has dropped, so I'm pulling my body back in space. My knee is over my ankle in my front, and I'm looking over the middle finger of my left hand. Warrior two. And we're ready. We're just going to straighten our front leg and then come forward ever so slightly to then just straight leg reverse warrior, really opening up the side of the body here. Again, really trying to push this right hip down. Do shorten your stance if you need. If you need to take a slightly shorter base, warrior two. And warrior two, heel to arch or heel to heel in your alignment of your feet. So just have a look down, check if you just need to adjust, do. So that's a straight leg reverse. And then back into bending into the front leg, back into my warrior two position. Again, arms are really engaged. I'm in one plane and I'm looking over my middle finger of my front hand, warrior two. When you're ready, just straightening that front leg, sending the body forward, and then just rotating, literally windmilling our hands down into a triangle, heart opening, trying to send the right shoulder backwards so it really opens up the front of your chest. And you might feel it in your hip as well. Holding it there for 3, 2, 1, and then back into warrior two. Nice. And when we're ready, just stepping it forward at the front of the mat. Oh, take a big sweep upwards and then sweeping all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, full bend. Dropping it back into our plank. Going to lower down. So again, take your pick. You can drop your knees, or if you're going to come forward on you, coming all the way forward, elbows tucked in, start lowering down, bending into the arms, hover at the bottom, touch down, let those feet go. And then your hands coming a little bit lower if you want to try upward dog, but coming down, hands come about at your waist height, elbows are pointing backwards, literally coming up. The front of our pelvis is off the mat. My thighs are off the mat, engaged, looking forward. Do go to either a baby cobra or cobra, which hands are a bit further forward. Full cobra, that's easier. Then coming back down towards the mat, tucking our toes, hands back by our chest, and then sending it back up into a downward dog position. So we're going to do warrior two on the other side. So right foot steps forward, just rising up into our high lunge to start. Get steady. And then when we're ready, back heel rotates in, opening out into our warrior two position. So again, quick glance down. It's either heel to heel or heel to mid-arch in the alignment. My body's very upright, arms are really straight out. I'm pulling myself back in space and dropping that back hip. The left hip is dropped, looking over the middle finger of my front hand. Really strong pose, warrior two. And when you're ready, straightening that front leg, sending our body forward before we sweep upwards and a side. This is a side bend here. So to feel it, opening up into our reverse warrior, straight leg reverse. And our left hand, back hand, just resting lightly on the back of our thigh. Bring it back into our warrior two. Straight leg again, and then windmilling our hands down, come into Trikonasana. So my hand, my right hand is just resting on the inside of my right calf here, my right lower calf. But really sending the left shoulder backwards. So it opens up the front of your chest. And if this is too much, you can actually have your hand here. So the arm doesn't have to go up to 12 o'clock. It can just be resting on the back of your on your lower back here. Okay, when we're ready, sending it forward back into our warrior two. So bending back into that front knee, looking over our middle finger, windmilling our hands back, pivoting on that back toe, bend it back into our downward dog. Very nice. Just take a moment here. So, done a lot of movement there. So just breathe. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just slowing the breathing down. When we're ready, walking our feet to meet our hands. Can you keep your hands on the mat? If not, just release them when you need to. And then forward bend all the way down. Half lift, hands on shin, rocking up. Make sure our weight is in the front part of our feet, light on the heels. Forward bend all the way down to the bottom. And then arms go wide, rising all the way up to the top. Again, you can take a little back bend here, going over your beach ball. You can have hands together. So hands can be Kali Mudra with our upper arms up by our ears. So reaching up and front of the pelvis going forward into a back bend here. Go where is comfortable for you. And then bringing it up to vertical, sweeping all the way down. Half lift. Crown of the mat, exhale, full bend. Stepping it back into our plank position. So knees down here, releasing those toes, and then best chaturanga that you've done, say it in the class. So go forward, lowering down. Nice. And take your pick. You can go baby cobra from here, hands a little bit wide if you're going to come up into full cobra, opening that heart forward, really sending the heart forward. Elbows are tucking in. And then face back to the mat, tucking our toes. Hands back inwards if you're in full cobra. Just feel your downward dog. Nice. Knees to the mat. Releasing those feet. Find a block, find a cushion, whatever you're using, and just come into child's pose. And just let everything relax down. Okay, cool. Taking the block away, and we're ready. We're just going to come forward. We're just going to come down to seated on our mat for a moment. So here we are going to come into preparation for boat pose. I'm just going to face the camera. So boat pose, off feet or soles of feet on the mat, but coming in as far as they can come in towards you. And then when you're here, so I come forward so you can see me, you can be here. You can take your legs wider if you need to, but just find what's comfortable for you. So soles of the feet on the mat, walking them in towards your bottom, and then basically with your hands either on the sort of just below your knees, pulling your body forward so you've got a straight back, shoulders are relaxed down. You can have them tucked in behind your knees if you like to as well. Elbows tucked in again, really pushing that heart forward, but not overarching. We're just having a really upright back position, straight back position, and just rocking on our sit bones, and maybe the feet will rise up. And if you're there, you might want to try and just rise one foot, rise the other foot, rise both feet. All the while, really hugging in, pulling in those knees towards you. Keep the back straight. You might want to try one foot going up and the other foot going up. But wherever you are, even if your feet are here, this is great. Really hugging your knees in towards your chest. And then feet back to the mat. Hands forward and then rolling down. So keeping the chin just tucked in towards just down and tucking in towards the sort of chest. Rolling down, vertebra by vertebra, go to the core, and then down all the way. And then just take a moment here. And you might just want to windscreen wiper your legs from left to right. So literally just getting some stretch into the lower body. Maybe hugging the knees in. Just giving yourself a little rock. Counter some of the bends we've been doing. Okay, when we're ready, setting up for bridge, so another heart opener. So bridge, our heels are on the, soles of feet are on the mat, knees are pointing towards the ceiling, and my thighs are parallel to one another. And then just walking the shoulder blades down a little bit just takes your shoulders away from your ears, so you're not hunched up on the mat. And then just using your fingertips, you may or may not, and it doesn't matter. Just see if you can, you might be able to brush the back of your heels, but don't worry if you can't. Just go to where is comfortable. And then while we're here, before we do anything, just rocking the pelvis up and down so you get the sensation of the movement that we're going for when we go into bridge. So rocking the pelvis away from you and then back upwards towards the ceiling, and then going the other way, and you'll feel the movement that's happening in the lower part of your body. So when we're ready, just reset, knees to the ceiling, thighs are parallel, engaging your core. Start picking your bottom up from the mat. The pelvis is tipping upwards and then rolling up, literally vertebra by vertebra. And then just coming onto our shoulders. We don't go any higher than our shoulders, so your head should be able to move freely. Yeah, move it from side to side. It should be free. And really sending our hips, the front of our hips up, up, up. Imagine like you're pushing your knees away from you. So see if you can send your knees to the wall or whatever's sort of straight on. But all the while, just trying to keep hugging those thighs in, as in keep them parallel. There's a temptation for our knees to splay a bit and our thighs to go outwards, but trying to keep everything parallel. And when we're ready, she's go rolling back down vertebra by vertebra. And just bottom back on the mat. So you can take a quick reset if you want to straighten your legs, if you want to just wiggle, or take a rock, or take a hug, whatever works. Okay, feet back to the mat, set up again. So thighs parallel, knees to the ceiling. You might be able to brush your heels, but not imperative. If you can't, don't worry. Just do what feels good. Just make sure those thighs are parallel. And when you're ready, picking that bottom up from the mat, start rolling up. Send the knees away. Keep the thighs parallel. You might glance down and see, can you see your knees and the front of your pelvis all in one line? So keep pushing it up, pushing up that middle section. And then rolling all the way back down again. Lovely. And then just hugging our knees in. Just take a gentle rock here. Okay, lovely. So we're ready, just going to roll up. So you can roll up from here. You can roll up just by giving a little gentle up. If not, just roll onto your side and just come up to a seated position here. And then we're just going to come and be in a kneeling position. And if you have blocks or anything handy, just grab them. You don't necessarily need blocks to do this. I'll show you both ways that you can practice. So camel, again, another heart opener, gentle back bend. So the camel pose you might have seen is literally arm back, and then a really big back bend that goes, you can see when you look at this online. But we're going to practice it today this way. So it's the beginnings of getting into a full camel pose. So kneeling position, my knees are hip width distance apart, and I'm really pulling up through the front of my pelvis and my hips, really strong, not overarching, just in a kneeling position, neutral, and sending my tailbone down and tucked in. And then I might stay here. This is fun. Then going to just send my arms back. My elbows are facing to the door behind me. Just placing my hands on my lower back. And again, sending my hips forward. Start sending your heart forward and just coming into a bend. Just keep those elbows pointed towards you, but keep sending your hips, the front of your hips forward. Okay, so you don't collapse back. But if you get to here, that's fine. It's just the start of a back bend. So my chin's forward, my eyes are looking up. I'm not collapsing into the back of my neck here though, just to not let sort of the head go free. It's literally is a very controlled sort of movement, sending the hips forward. And then we're ready, just releasing it down and coming back down. And if you want to, just come down into child's pose just to release the back bend. And then if you want to go again, so the other way to practice this, to show the other way, is with blocks. So rather than all the way back, just having them just like mid-calf, set up again. And you might just want to, one hand on block, other hand on block, fingertips. And again, sending the hips forward, sending the collarbone, opening the heart, just resting on the block, but always sending the hips forward here. Practicing our camel pose prep. And then arms back to the front, sending it back towards the mat, and just coming down here. Okay. Fabulous. So I'm here just literally just shifting our legs around. Again, just rolling down, coming back to lying on the mat here. Oop, all the way down. And if it feels good, windscreen wiper the legs. You might want to hug your knees in. And when we're ready, just going to meet you in a knees hugging in towards the chest, hands on top of our knees, and literally start drawing big circles on the ceiling with your knees. As big as you can go. I keep my big toes together because it forces me to get a really big circle going, as big as you can make it. And then feet back to the mat. Now you can hug in one knee, the right knee, all the way in. My other knee, my left leg is bent. I've got my left knee pointed to the ceiling. And here I'm pushing my lower back into the mat. If you want to take a stretch with a straight leg, you can, but flex that foot so it's engaged, still pushing my lower back into the mat so I don't lose that. Just getting some stretch into my groin. And then foot back to the mat, right foot back to the mat, and the left's going to join it. And then bringing my left knee up, really hugging it in. And if you want, send the right leg away, flex that foot, push that lower back into the mat. I'm just hugging in our our left knee into our chest, Sunday morning. Okay. And you can, if you want to, if that's difficult, you can just take the knee a little bit wider. Just use one hand, use two hands, but all the while pushing the lower back into the mat so we're not arching up our spine. Okay. Lovely. So when we're ready, just bringing both knees in. And then when we're ready, soles back onto the mat, just rolling to our favorite side and pushing ourselves up. Okay, lovely. Right, so some lovely stretches there. So here, we're just going to sit in a kneeling position. You can, if you've got blocks, you can sit in a hero's position with two blocks. I'll show your face onto the camera like this. So I'm sitting with my butt cheeks on there. That's quite a comfortable seated position. So if you ever want to sit kneeling, this is a good way to do it. One or two blocks, just that gives you space. So just come into a kneeling position here. I'm literally going to bring my hands to heart center. And from here, nothing changes in the lower half. Everything's seated and secure, tucking my elbows in. I'm literally just going to rotate my body towards the camera. Nothing changes in my lower body. And then back to center. And then back to left. So I'm going to my left. Getting some supine twists in now. Back to center. And then all the way to the right again. And back to center. And then all the way to the left. And if you're ready, just sending it down to the mat. Active arms, I'll come a little bit back on my mat. Active arms in the child's pose. Really stretching out. Really active arms. Active shoulders here. And some more stretching. So we're going to come just seated back on the mat, send our legs forward again. Flexing our foot, sitting on the mat, just pulling the fleshy bits out the way of our bottom. So we're in contact with the mat, sitting up tall. And then when you're ready, right foot stepping in towards your bottom, just sitting up tall like we've been practicing. And then you can cross your right foot over your left thigh. So your right foot sitting on the outside of your right thigh, still sitting up tall. Crook of your left arm around your right knee. Right arm up and round, reaching backwards, and you're on pyramid fingers, but all the while straight and upright body here. This is half Lord of the Fishes. Great names I have in yoga. But really twisting around and looking over your right shoulder, and you're trying to send your right shoulder back. I'm trying to send it towards the wall behind me. But looking over your right shoulder, hugging in with that elbow, hugging the right knee in with the elbow. When we're ready, just bringing that right arm to the front, releasing the elbow, releasing the foot, leg goes straight, and then you can just windscreen wipe your legs from left to right. Okay. Set up again. So when we're ready, legs are long, flex feet. This time left foot in towards our bottom, and then stepping it over so it's on the outside edge of our right thigh. Right arm, crook of right arm hugs the left knee. Arm reaches up and round and back on pyramid fingers at the back. Back is straight, hugging in. And then head just looking over our left shoulder, really trying to send that left shoulder. I'm trying to send my left shoulder towards the camera, really twisting round. Just staying here for a few more breaths. Really making sure that my long leg is engaged with that flex foot, so my knee stays engaged, my legs are all activated. And ready, just releasing the left arm forward, releasing the right elbow away, sending the legs long, and just again, windscreen wiper, or just take a sort of movement, whatever you need to do. Okay, and when we're ready, so cobbler's pose. So if you've got your blocks or even cushions handy, you can use if you're doing this, doing some stretching. So soles of the feet are together and open them out like a book. So the further your legs are away from you, the easier this is. If you need it to be, just go wherever you need to get to. So soles of the feet, so the outer blades of my feet are together, but my feet are opened out like a book. And then if needed, you can use blocks under your thighs if that feels, if you just need a bit more support, around your knees. And just hands, I just grab onto my ankles, pulling my body upwards, so I've got a nice straight back. I'm not overarching, I've just got a nice engaged back, nice and straight, and just relaxing into my cobbler's pose. So go and stretch. Just staying here, just breathing in. So always going through our nose. And if you're finding this quite challenging, you can just do one leg at a time. So you can do half cobbler. So again, as long as your foot is flexed and your leg's straight, you can just bring this in and do it on one side. Still using a block under my thigh on my left leg. Bring it slightly inwards to get the groin stretch. So if that's too challenging, having both feet, just do one leg at a time. Okay, and switch sides if you're doing half cobbler. So again, block under the knee if needed. So your hands can be down by the sides, it can be just resting on your thigh, or just out in front of you ever so slightly if that's comfortable. Flexing that left foot so that leg's engaged. When you're ready, just bringing your feet back together again. And again, you can just take a twist or take a sort of shake, whatever you need. And let's do some stretching for our upper body. We've done a little bit in our shoulders today. So back into our tabletop position. So some cat-cows here. So dropping our belly, look forward, inhale, pushing the mat away. And then rolling up into cat position, exhale through our nose. Rolling up again, dropping the belly. Looking forward. And then reversing that and coming into cat, exhale. And go really meaningfully, go really feel vertebra by vertebra where you need it. Inhale, drop belly, for our cow. And then really rolling up, looking back between our legs, cat. One more for luck. And then rolling it back up again into cat. And then just staying here, what we're going to do now is just release the left hand from the mat, rising up to the sky and just threading the needle and bringing our hands. So my right hand, I'm just on my like pyramid fingers again, sending it a little bit forward. I've threaded my left hand through, my shoulders on the mat. Take a moment here. Again, stay in tabletop if that's comfortable. Continue doing cat-cows if you prefer. And then just pushing up on the right hand, just releasing that, coming back up into tabletop position. So set up again, releasing the right hand from the mat up to the sky, and then sending our shoulder blade down. Sending our shoulder to the mat and the hands out. You can have your left hand on little pyramids or have it flat, whatever works for you, that's comfortable, but just feel the stretch. You'll feel it in your shoulders, in your upper back. Bottom high to the sky. When you're ready, just pushing the mat away with your left hand, releasing the right, and just coming back into a tabletop position. Okay, and when we're ready, just sending our bottom backwards. Really feeling every moment of that stretch as we relax down. And then we're at the back of our mat in our kneeling position. And just where we started, just rising our right hand to the sky. Left hand can just go to the mat alongside you. Really feeling the stretch to the left, sending the body all the way forward. Left arm joins in, all the way around, stretching to the other side. And then bringing it back up again. Stretching to the left, so right arm is raised, sweeping it forward, just getting the stretch. I'm always trying to ground down my sit bones as best as I can. You will move, it's a dynamic movement we're doing, but just trying to get some nice stretch into our body here. And once more. Just releasing any last bits of tension before we settle into our Shavasana. Just taking a moment here, just breathing in. Okay, and when you're ready, just swinging our legs round. We're going to come down onto lying on the mat, setting up for our Shavasana. Again, come down as you like. If you want to try a roll down again, but just join us down on the mat when you're ready. We'll come down a bit further. So, set up for Shavasana. Ooh, a bit too far. There we go. Right, so I'm lying along on my mat. The feet go as wide as your mat, and then the feet drop outwards, and then your hands away from your body, palms facing up. Walk the shoulder blades down so that your shoulders are away from your ears. And then here, you want to have a soft jaw. So Tempting to think we've only got a few minutes left and all the things to rush to after this, but nowhere to be for another few minutes of practice. So try and center yourself in your Shavasana. So soft lips, soft jaw, eyes are shut. And then find your way into your Shavasana. So perhaps a body scan, that's a good way to relax and to sort of stop the thoughts. So scanning from your toes, just imagine there's a line moving up your body, starting at your toes. And just acknowledge on the way as that line's moving like a laser line, a nice gentle laser line. Just what does it feel like? Just acknowledging, not judging, just relaxing into the pose. When you're ready, just wiggling your fingers, wiggling those toes. Maybe take some sort of rotations of the wrists and rotations of the ankles, whatever feels good. And when you're ready, just picking up and placing the soles of the feet on the mat and maybe hugging in your knees towards you, and give yourself a hug, just elbows around the outside, out of the knees. Take a rock if that feels good from side to side. And when you're ready, soles back to the soles of the feet back to the mat. Just coming onto your favourite side. I've come onto my right side. Just relax here for a moment. Using my left hand, I'm just pushing myself up to a seated position. To find whatever position is comfortable for you. You can be on blocks. You can just come on seated in the mat. Hands resting lightly on my thighs. When we're ready, sending up arms wide, up to the sky and to heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today.